Nobody else true. Nobody else amazed me. Nobody else had a clue what I.
All the story times I dropped, this one might be that one. Like, you just gotta stick around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more videos. Welcome back to my channel. It's Keisha, aka it's K's World, and we're back. I'm ready to tell this story time. The story time is long overdue. So much went down in this job, and I just want to talk about it. I gotta talk about it. I feel like all the story times I dropped, this one might be that one. Like, you just gotta stick around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more videos. Job, okay. So, I'm a child education major, if you don't know. So, I'm about to finish school next year. So, before then, I wanted to gain some type of experience working with children, even though I babysitted and everything. I never worked in a child facility, a daycare, none of that. So, boom. My friend was already working at the daycare, and she had put me onto a job opportunity. Cool, working with kids. Boom. So she put the word in for me, as she should, you know, a real one. Put the word in for me. I got hired, did the whole background check, showed her my certificates. I had 2 certificates at the time in ECE. It was for an infant specialist and an associate teacher in child education. So yeah, so did all that, got the job, boom. This is when it gets a little weird. I don't like to say sketchy yet, but weird. So boom, my daughter is 2 at the time, and I mentioned like, oh, I have a daughter as well, and she was like, to bring her in to shadow the facility, see how she likes it. If she likes it, you know, she can enroll. If she don't, hey, no harm, no foul. Cool. So once I did my little orientation, which wasn't really orientation, I think she thought just because I went to school and I learned the like education side of working with kids that I just automatically knew everything, which, you know, some of the stuff is common sense, but I've never worked hands-on in a daycare. So I still needed that part of the training, which there barely was none. I was just shadowing my friend and another person who worked in the infant room, which that's the position I was signed to be in, which, you know, that's what I wanted to work with anyways, infants and toddlers. So that was that. So no orientation, no really shadow work. Brought my daughter in so she can get a feel for it. But this is the part, y'all gotta listen to that part. Brought my daughter in to shadow the place to see if she liked it. Remember that part, because this part gonna come back up. So boom. I probably worked at the job, started in like October to December. Like, I didn't even have the job. No, I'm gonna say maybe September 2021 to December 2021. Yeah, I didn't work that job that long, and in the midst of all the jobs. So let's just say it was a Black-owned daycare, so that's really why I took the job, because it's like, you know, support your people. Plus, eventually I would want to open my own Black-owned childcare facility. So of course I want to see how it's being run and, you know, how everything goes before I open my own. It wasn't giving. How she operated wasn't giving. It's time for payday. First check. I forgot how much the check was. It had to been around like, I want to say $700-800. $700-800. I was full-time, worked. I had to be there 8 to 5, full-time, $700-800 check. Cool. Went to cash the check. When I tell you, the check bounced. The check bounced, and I never worked a job where my check bounced. Had my bank looking at me crazy, like I was fraud. I was like, hold on, what you mean? What you mean the check didn't clear? What you mean it didn't clear? I was so shocked because my bank ended up taking fees, like they ended up taking fees and money out of my account for a bounce check that I had no idea it was gonna bounce, you know? So boom, first check, working at that job, bounce check, dumped. Instantly, call up there. It was like, well, no, I didn't call up there. I went up there. I worked the next day. It was like, just to let you know, I was unable to cash my first check. It's just like, what? Really? Like, oh, I don't know why. I have money in the account, you know? And I'm just like, I looked at my friend. I was like, now, girl, you didn't tell me we was going to be having bounce checks. And she didn't mention because when she started working there, her first check bounced. You didn't think to mention that? You didn't think that was something you supposed to tell me? So it was like, she was like, so the lady was like, she was going to look at the system, see why it bounced. She keeps saying money was in the account. But then she said she had a joint account. Like she linked her personal account and her business account together. Which I don't know, why would you do that? Cool, let it slide. She ended up fixing it. She ended up going to the bank that same day and just giving me my check in cash instead of me cashing the check. Cool, whatever, let it slide, cool. So that's the first incident, one bounce check, cool. So in the midst of all of that, she, like, every week I came to work, she kept saying, like, is your child on child action, which is basically like free daycare or whatever. Child action. I was like, oh no, she ain't never been in a daycare before. She was only 2 at the time. So it's like, no, she's been at home with me. I'm her teacher. I taught her everything up until this point. She's like, oh, well, call your worker, ask them to, like, fill out the child action papers so your daughter can come here. Cool. So call my worker. It was a process for this to be done, though. Child action papers they take a minute, you know, to get done. So the whole time I was at this job, the child action papers didn't kick in. They didn't kick in. Cool. So that's that. Mind you, my daughter starts coming to the daycare. She's in my class because she's 2 at the time. So she's in my class. She eventually gets transferred over to the preschoolers because she's well advanced. But when I'm at work, she's at school. And, you know, I got eyes on her, all that good stuff. And she's been going to work with me the whole time I've been working. Cool. We got that? Got it. Cool. And not once did this teacher mention tuition, a tuition fee. I didn't sign my name on no dotted line about this is how much I was supposed to pay for my child being here. None of that. This is what she told me. She was like, bring your child in, see how she like it. We'll do a trial run, trial period, and that's it. Trial period. She never said when the trial ends. None of that. Keep this in mind, because this is when she tried it. She just tried it. So, trial period. My daughter spent September, October, November, December at the school. And I worked those same months. Like I said, didn't sign my name on no paper about a tuition fee. This is how much it's going to cost for her to be here. None of that. Because if it was going to cost for her to be here, she wasn't going to be here. Straight up. She was going to sit at home like she's been doing, and she's been learning through me without being in this facility. So, cool. Never mention it. what threw me off is like, when I think about child education, I think about like getting to know each child, figuring out each child, catering to the kid, you know, make sure what's wrong, what's the issue, how can we solve it, how can we go about it. That's me. That's what I learned through school, and that's just who I am as a person. But at this daycare facility, it's like, oh, don't pick them up, because if you pick up this kid, then this kid's gonna want to be picked up, and you treat this kid like this, and this kid's gonna want to. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. With him, like, okay, once I'm done attending to this kid, I'll attend to that kid, but not to say don't baby the kid. Like, mind you, like, one of these kids were like, she didn't even turn 1 yet, and she was crying. She had a runny nose, stuffy nose. She just seemed like it wasn't her day. So picked her up, catered to her, and the teacher felt like I was taken away from the rest of the kids because I was catering to her. But mind you, somebody dropped her off with a stuffy nose. She has eczema on her skin. She looks like she's just not, she ain't supposed to be here today. So all I know is, you know, motherly instincts to kick in is to help this child. Why the teacher's telling me to do the opposite. So that threw me off. I'm like, okay. And then just, I'm trying to think about the second check. Okay, boom. Okay, got it. So payroll. So this is a family-owned, Black-owned daycare. So her mom is HR, which is like, I don't even think that's even legal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think your family member should be HR. But her mom's HR, whatever. She's the one who would come by, and we would what is it called? Like, before you get your check, you make sure like your hours and everything's correct. That's what she did. And she only came by the whole time I was working there, maybe 2 or 3 times with that HR paper to see if our hours were correct and everything. And me and my coworker, we had looked, and it wasn't adding up. Like, our hours weren't matching the check. And we get like, yeah, you take money out for taxes and all this other stuff, but the taxes ain't even hit yet. This is the check. This is not the check. This is just like the hours you work, and this is what you're finna get paid. No tax has been taken out yet. So we doing the math. We work 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. My friend works 9 to 6. So it's like, so we calculated it in the toddler and infant room while the kids are asleep. They're either, by the time we was doing this, they were all down for a nap, or we came back from our lunch breaks. And that's when she would come over with the payroll sheet, trying to make sure like, oh, make sure your hours is right, make sure everything's correct. And we looking at each other when we seen it, like maybe about $7 were like missing out of our check. Like $7 ain't a big deal, but it's like, I work 40 hours. I want it all. I want everything I work for. So we noticed that. We told her about that. It wasn't corrected. She issued our checks, cashed the second one. I think that's the only check that went through. Probably, I think I had 2 bounce checks the whole time I was working there. And then when I got fired, she didn't issue my last check. She didn't issue my last check, but let me backtrack. Like I said, we had the kids in the structure. When we worked, when we were there, kids were structured. We knew what we were gonna do from the moment they walk in to lunchtime to when they went to sleep. We had it all laid out. So in the midst of it, yeah, we was talking about our personal life, but the kids would be asleep by then, or they're at lunch eating. So of course on our downtime, we're talking about school because we're both in school at the time. She's a law student, and I'm like a child education major. So we'll talk about school, we'll talk about vacations, we talk about what we're doing outside of work, and she just made it seem like we were off task, and we weren't doing what we were supposed to do, and we were doing exceptional at what we're supposed to do. But I'm gonna talk about why she ended up firing us or whatever. So while I was working there, mind you, like I said, my daughter works there too. I mean, goes to school there. So not only am I getting myself ready for work, I'm up getting my daughter ready for school. And I would text her like, oh, we're gonna be about 5-10 minutes late, we're running a little late. Cool. I didn't think it was a big deal. I only lived up the street, so it's not like I had to catch the freeway or anything like that. So I didn't think it was a big deal. She never mentioned it as a big deal, so I didn't think it was a big deal. And as far as my friend, she stayed all the way in Elk Grove to where we worked at was a cool 20 or 30 minute drives. But she had to be at work at 9, and she would usually come at 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock. So she would be late too. And like I said, she would ask me, she was like, oh, where China's at? China's not here. And I was like, let me text her. And then my friend would be in traffic, which is typical when you live 20-30 minutes away. She catching the freeway, there's traffic, cool. So then I was like, oh yeah, she's stuck in traffic. And then my teacher and her co-worker, or whoever this lady is to her, would just be like being catty, like talking mess about my friend, talking about, oh, she knew what time she had to be at work. She knew she had to be at work at this time, so why would you leave your house at this time? You shouldn't be stuck in traffic. Like, come on now. Like, people get stuck in traffic every day. So she was trying to blame us being late all the time, and like, she acted like we didn't show up. That's the thing. We always showed up for work. Every single day we would show up for work. And we'll be like 5-10 minutes late. And I think on the paper when we apply, it says you can be up to 15 minutes late. So we weren't never breaking the rules. So for her to bring that up, like, oh, you guys are constantly late, and I would let it slide and I wouldn't say anything, it's like, I'm bringing a whole child to your facility. I just gave you clientele. Chill out. I just brought you clientele. Chill out. Like, I do my job, do it well. We do our job, we do it well. Like, we are your 2 top teachers in this classroom. Pipe down. Be for real. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why she tried to fire us, or we got fired. Not try to fire us. We was gonna quit before she fired us, but she ended up firing us before we quit. Let me fast forward now, because like I said, I don't want this video to be long, but I want to make sure I didn't want to jump to the nitty-gritty without giving y'all backstory. So it's around this time, December, kids are about to go on break, and maybe like that week or the week before. So she keeps coming in, and she was talking to us about like what the parents suggested. She was like, I talked to the parents, and they want to know if they want to give you guys 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off. Woo, 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 which means you guys will come back January 3rd, 2022. And I'm like, and we was like, oh yeah, that's like, we're cool with that. Like, yeah, we'll come back the first, like January 3rd, the first of the year, basically. That's what me and my friend China had embedded in our head. Come back after winter break, January 3rd, to start the new school year. That's what she told us. That's what we heard. That's what we were informed. So the week the kids were supposed to go on break, we were supposed to get paid, because I think Christmas Eve was on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And we supposed to get paid on Friday, but it's Christmas Eve. So she was supposed to issue us checks on Thursday, Yeah, we're supposed to get our checks early because it was Christmas Eve. And she said something like, she don't know if it could work like that. That's not how payroll works or whatever. So we wouldn't see that check till after Christmas, which is the 26th. I think the 26th was probably a Sunday. So maybe the 27th. 26th, 27th, whatever that Monday fell on, is when we were supposed to get that check. Hold on, let me go find the check so I can know what date's on it. Okay, I'll be right back. I was not playing, y'all. I might tell you a joke, but I'll never tell y'all no lie. I found the letter, the checks, and everything. So, I'm gonna show y'all the check, the day the check, according to the post office, was sent off. It said, wait, no, that wasn't that. Okay, the check, I don't know if y'all can see, but the check says 12/24/21. All right, this is when she signed the check. She signed the checks on Christmas Eve, or for Christmas Eve, because I said Christmas Eve was Friday. We can't cash these on Friday, so we got our checks early. Cool. Okay, backtrack. So I said she gave us our checks in the mail. She didn't give it in the mail. She handed us the checks. Yeah, we get paper checks, handed an envelope on that Thursday, because Christmas Eve was Friday and there was no school. And clearly you can't cash this check on Christmas Eve because they're closed, and yeah, it's holiday. So you had to wait to the, let me see if this is Thursday or Friday, the 27th when we were able to cash it. Cool. So as you see, I still have this check because I was unable to cash it. I was unable to cash this check. So this is technically my last check from the job that I never got to cash, never got to none of that. So when Monday came around to cash it, I had went up to the bank, which is, I think, First Citizens Bank. It was a private bank. Went up to the bank, asked him, can you cash this check? He goes through the system. He was like, I'm unable to cash this check for you. And I'm like, what do you mean you're unable to cash this check? You might want to talk to your employer. There's been a hold put on this check. I was like, a hold? Put a hold on my check? Instantly call her phone. She's not answering. I told my friend, my coworker, I was like, were you able to cash your check? She's like, I went to Walmart. It said it was on hold too. She couldn't cash it. I'm like, why she put her checks on hold? It's Monday. Put her checks on hold. And then mysteriously, I got a letter in the mail, you know? And I'm gonna read you guys what it says. This has come from the daycare. It says, Dear Keisha Burden, we regret to inform that your employment with the daycare is being terminated effectively 12/27/21. You are being terminated for the following reasons. Other, no call, no show. You have the right to appeal this termination by returning a written notification of your intention to appeal this matter to Charlene Chappell, which is her mother, who works HR, no later than 12/27/21. Failure to submit a written appeal notification with a deadline provided shall constitute a waiver of the right to appeal. You issued us a check, couldn't cash it till Monday. You're illegally wrong. You're dead wrong. This is my check. I earned this check. Was looking forward to cashing it on Monday. Go to the bank. They say you put a hold on my check. Because we didn't show up to work on December 27th. Mind you, like I said, she said in the info room, she said, I talked to the parents. They're talking about giving you guys, instead of 2 weeks, 3 weeks off. Which means we would come back to work January 3rd. I don't know why we had to lie. Like, we didn't want to come to work. Like, we lied or something. And when we told her, you said come back January 3rd, she was like, I did not say that. I did not say that. I'm like, you literally, the week of, if not the week before, you came in the infant and toddler room and said, the parents feel like you guys should get an extra week off of work for, like, you know, taking care of their kids. And it's like, thank you, you know. And like, the school districts around where I live, they don't go back to school to the 3rd either. So it was like, just say you messed up. Just say you didn't follow through with your word. You wasn't on your word. But I know what you told me, and I know what you told us. So I don't know. It was just like, be for real. So she kicked us out, and I was like, oh yeah, just to let you know, my daughter's not coming back. You fire me, you basically fired my child, and she's not coming back. Just to let you know, I ripped everything off, her cubbies, everything, took that off, and I took it with me, and yeah, she's not coming back. Y'all don't want to issue us another check, you ain't gonna write us another check, you ain't got to take the hold off the check. Oh, I ain't coming back. I don't want to come back, I'm not appealing, and my child's not coming back either. And that's that. And that was that. And so we ended up filing a claim with the laboring board about this. And then, you know, I wasn't trying to be petty, but I ended up being petty because she was being petty with me. But I called the what is it called, the people, anyways, like what I said in the beginning, I called the people who check up on daycares who, you know, ain't abiding by law. Sure did. You want to be petty with me, I can be petty with you. So I sure did. Called them. Well, I didn't call them. Filed a complaint online about, oh, there's trash outside the front door when you walk to drop your kids off. Piles of trash everywhere. Trash spilled out. There's baby roaches in the infant room. Dirty way. I was. Don't be petty with me and think I ain't finna run it back. So I was petty. I filed a complaint. The inspector called me and was saying that she's on her way down there to check the place out, you know, and she wanted to go over everything I said. I was like, yeah, there's piles of trash right when you walk in, piles of trash sitting over to the right, just piled up, stacked up, not in a dumpster, nothing, just there, flies flying around. And then when you walk in, flies in the walk area. When you go back to the infant room, roaches all over the place. Like, might tell you a joke, but I never tell you a lie. So she ran her inspection. She ended up calling me back. She was like, you were right. You were right. Basically saying I was right. Everything I said that I seen and that I witnessed was true. Gave her 2 fines. Yeah. And then so she realized she got 2 fines, and she figured who it came from. It was gonna either be from me or my friend. And so my friend was in touch with her, and she mentioned like, oh, somebody came in to check on my establishment and they gave me 2 fines. And my friend was basically like, well, like, you know, well, hey, you know, don't know what to tell you. And so I guess she thought it was my friend who called. Long story short, she ended up giving my friend her check in cash. Like, she wanted to settle it with her, you know, but she didn't want to settle it with me. She ended up, whatever my friend's check was, she ended up cash apping it to her, you know, like, hey, sorry for the inconvenience. Woo, woo, woo. She cashed out my friend her money. Didn't cash app me, didn't PayPal me, Zelle me a dime, you know? So I'm like, okay, that's weird. Next thing you know, I got an invoice. I'm gonna put this invoice up too. Like, I keep all my receipts because I just wish somebody would say I'm lying. Invoice is gonna be right here. I gotta check the date because I'm filming on my phone where the invoice is on, but this invoice right here was sent to me. I know y'all see the price. And she thought I was gonna pay that. You got the wrong one. not the right one, but the wrong one. This apparently is my daughter's daycare fees, expenses, or whatever you want to call it, that I didn't pay. Still to this day, never paid it. She thought I was gonna pay it, but I wasn't. Because like I said in the beginning, she told me, bring your daughter in for a trial period. It's a trial run. Like I said, she never said when it ended. She never said when the trial ended. Nor did she have me sign anything that says after blah, 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 blah date, you will be paying blah, 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 blah money. So it's like, yeah, I know my laws, I know my rules, regulations, all that. So that invoice still sitting, and it's gonna keep sitting because I wasn't gonna pay that, and you wasn't gonna make me, and you didn't want to take that to court because you was gonna lose. If we really being honest, from bounce checks to you putting hold on people's checks, you firing people and don't want to issue their money to them, you ain't want to see us in court about that, you know. So at the end of the day, I never got paid for that job. She made me not want to work in a daycare, but I know this is my major, this is my job, so I'm going to continue to, you know, find what daycare works for me. And it just so happened that this happened from a Black establishment. This is what happens when you try to support your people, you know. Your own people be shady and weird towards you, you know. So yeah, that's that, y'all. I'll never do it again. I never work this job again. Crazy. But that's it for the video. I hope this is not a long video, guys, but hopefully, you know, you guys enjoyed it. It was informative. Hope you got a good laugh at it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, y'all. Road to 2K. We almost there. Let's get there. You know we can. Y'all know the vibes. I'll check you guys out in my next video. Bye.